Psychic Miss Paranormal Network.
Hi, this is Shara with Psychic Miss Paranormal, and in this video I'm going to share something paranormal, but something that's also very special to me. This little cutie is Roxy. My precious dog Roxy passed away on June 29th, 2020, but she reached out from the other side to let me know that she's alive and well in another dimension. I have some EVPs and ITC pictures to share with you. I also have some information to share with you, and although death isn't such a great subject, the pieces of the puzzle that the universe and my dog put together for me are amazing. I'm hoping that this video gives some people that lost their loving pets some peace of mind. This video is also my way of letting my Roxy know just how special she is to me and that I'll love her forever. As my tribute to her, a very precious soul that came into my life briefly, a short 12 years, but every second was cherished. Roxy is an American bulldog, almost all white, with a little black around her eye and ears. She was always so loving and full of life. She was a rescue dog that my daughter adopted when Roxy was 6 months old. She was very scared of people, as her first home was an abusive one. It didn't take long before Roxy started to trust us, and she knew she could relax and enjoy her life. She became very protective of my family. Roxy liked to stand next to me while I would be working at my computer, and she would place her 2 front paws on my legs and want me to pet her head. This was something she would do every day. It was one of the first couple of times that she did that. She placed her front legs on mine, and while I was petting her, our eyes locked and something very spiritual happened. We experienced a bond that was so profound. We were so close from that point on. It was like our souls connected on such a deep level. Roxy had the prettiest short white eyelashes, and she would often sit like a human on the sofa. When I would hug all of her 80 pounds of fluffiness, it was like cuddling up to an adorable teddy bear. I would always tell Roxy that she was my good girl, and she really was. She was so well behaved and listened very well. Her favorite place to spend most of her day was on the sofa in the living room. This is also where I spend a lot of my time working on my computer or on paranormal things like going through experiments or investigation footage. Every night before bed, I would pet her for a few minutes, give her a kiss on the head, which is where she had the softest fur, and tell her, "You're my good girl. Mommy loves you forever. Night, Rox." American bulldogs live about 10 to 15 years, but our veterinarian told us she was pretty old and that we did something right. Roxy was always very healthy, and we knew that she was getting older. She would have some trouble getting on and off the sofa, and she couldn't jump on my bed anymore. She was a bit stiff, but that didn't stop her from romping around. She went downhill pretty quickly, though. She had breathing issues, and at first the doctors thought it was a heart-related issue, but the cardiologist ruled that out. She had other issues with her lungs, things that we couldn't cure, unfortunately. We chose euthanasia because Roxy was suffering and suffocating, and there was no healing for her.
I was really hoping that she would be able to pass away in the comfort and peace of her home with her family around her. But because she was suffering so much, that would have been cruel. This is what caused us to make that decision, and it also caused us even more pain and grief. From the time we noticed symptoms until the time she passed away, it was about a month and a half. I knew that Roxy didn't have long, so I did a PEITC session using her water bowl since it was direct contact with the water medium. I wanted to see if there were any guardians or messages that I could get. The night before the day she passed away, she suddenly started to lick my face and was so very lovable. She followed me around the house, even if it was hard for her, so I tried to just stay in one place, in one area, as much as possible. When she would lick me, I could smell what I always called the sick smell. My daughters and I can smell that through our clairaudient abilities. The sick smell meant that someone was going to get sick, but when I smelled it on her, I knew she didn't have long. It turned out that my sweet angel passed away the very next day.
I plan to show you some paranormal pictures at this point, but I wanted to share some EVPs that I got with you from the slideshow of Roxy that I put together that you just saw. While I was speaking through the slideshow, I obtained 6 EVPs. Here they are now. I always said to Roxy, "Mommy loves you," and I guess she responded by calling me Mom. I always felt so bad and guilty for having to resort to euthanasia, but this EVP gave me great relief. The following EVP is played at 3 speeds. The first is the original, the second is slowed down to a normal speed, and the last one is slowed down even more, and it sounds kind of eerie, but she's saying, "Love you." I still talk to Roxy as I know her spirit can hear me. During the day I was talking to her, saying that I wonder if spirits grieve over us the way we grieve over them, not being able to see them anymore. I believe that this next EVP is in response to that. 4 days later, I was outside with my camera taking nature pictures. Doing this always seems peaceful to me, as I love walking in nature. I was walking along Roxy's outside route, just snapping pictures along the way. When I returned inside the house, I looked through the pictures to see if I captured any nature spirits.
So here's a picture that I took of a mushroom. Nature spirits love mushrooms, so I thought this was a good place to start. And I zoomed in closer, and as you can see, I have 2 things circled here. First, on the left is a fly, and on the right, it's a swirly part of a mushroom that has little objects in it. So when I zoomed in a little closer, you can see that the objects in it were actually a small family of nature spirits. There's 3 of them there, and I have them outlined for you here so you could see them a little bit better. I just wanted to bring this picture back once more so that you can see the comparison of the size of the fly compared to the little tiny nature spirits. They're really small. Now moving to the upper right of the picture, I found what looked like a dog that looked like my Roxy. I outlined the dog for you so you could see it better, but it's definitely a dog that resembles her strongly. And considering that it was 4 days after her death, I think that it's safe to say that it was her. Here's another dog that I got from the same session that I did, and I outlined it too so you could see it better, but I believe this is Roxy.
It took me 3 days after Roxy's death to stop crying long enough to do another ITC and EVP session to try to make communication with her. Here are the EVPs I got from my first session. I'm trying to get a hold of my dog Roxy. Great, or Roxy's guardian angel, or angel of light, took her home. Roxy, are you here with me? Was that you that came back to me, not last night, but the night before that, and made me feel that soothing feeling of peace? Was that you trying to tell me something? Do you understand that we made a hard decision to let you go because we thought you were suffering and dying and we didn't want you to suffer? Do you understand that? Where is your new home at, Roxy? I have some more EVPs for you, but first I want to share some amazing signs that the universe gave to me to let me know that Roxy made her way home. When I walked out of the animal hospital without my precious dog, it was one of the most heartbreaking things I ever had to deal with. Her time of death was 9:06 p.m., and in numerology that is the number 6, which happens to be my favorite number. I hated that it had to be that number, but I do believe that that was the first of 3 signs that my doggie made her way to her new home. As soon as I got into the car, it started to rain, and my spiritual guide whispered to me, "Tears from heaven." I feel like the rain symbolized my tears. As soon as I got home, I went outside because nature spirits offer their love, and I really appreciate that. I looked up and I saw an angel in the clouds. Later that night, when I was sitting at my computer, I felt something tickle my leg from my ankle to my knee. Roxy used to sit under my computer desk when I would work at night, and a lot of times her tail would brush my leg and tickle it. So I kind of felt like that was her. It was the same feeling. Maybe she was trying to say, "I'm okay, Mom." I did ask her to let me know that she was okay, and I think that I got several signs of that just that first night when I came home. And I really needed that. Here's some more EVPs from my second session. Roxy have a lung disease. Even though this is not a correct answer to this question, Roxy did have a lot of stomach and indigestion issues, so I feel like it was kind of a validation to me. Do you approve that we're having your ashes sent back here to be home with us? I love you, baby. I love you, Rox. I'll talk to you again. Please let me know that you can hear me. What does my dog want me to know? This one doesn't really make too much sense. The only thing I can really think of is that this is for what you say. It's kind of in response to what I'm saying. It's the only thing I can think of. You're my good girl. I'm now going to show you PEITC pictures. Please keep in mind that this type of ITC produces pictures of energies that are attracted to the channeled energy of the subject. And of course, it's Roxy's energy. Even though the pictures have some people in it and some other types of strange things that normally come through in an ITC session, most of the pictures are of animals, and a lot of them are of white dogs. 2 weeks after Roxy left us, I had a dream that had many of my deceased loved ones in it. It was my mother, my 2 sisters, my brother-in-law, my husband, and one of my dogs. It was very uncanny that this many of my deceased loved ones would come back into the same dream, including my cute little dog, Eddie.
My dog, Eddie, was with a red cardinal in my dream, which I also found peculiar. I knew that this was no ordinary dream. I have spirit communication in my dreams often, so it is easy to tell when the dreams are just dreams and when they are visitations. I asked Eddie if he saw one of my other dogs that died shortly before Eddie did. Her name was Kisses, an adorable toy fox terrier. I also asked if he saw Roxy, as both Eddie and Kisses knew her. Eddie nodded his head in a positive response, which made me happy. I also knew that a red cardinal was a sign that a spirit had a message for me. Cardinals symbolize freedom, wisdom, and higher knowledge. They are considered messengers of the divine. Cardinals are songbirds that originated from North America. The cardinal also symbolizes the fire of life that burns in our souls in the coldest and darkest of times. It encourages us to stay strong during difficult times. They epitomize family life, close family bonds, and love. In the Native American culture, the cardinal is associated with the number 12. because they are present during all 12 months of the year. Since they do not fly to warmer areas during the cold months, they are strong and endure hardships. It is also very common that their nests contain 12 eggs, so the birds are considered a good omen. The date that I had the dream was July 12th. The dream was way too much to be a coincidence and carried a message of love. Are you here? Do you have a message for me, Rox? Will I ever see you again?
I asked my deceased mom to come and take Roxy home the day she died. My mom's name is Anna Rose.
Where are you, Rox? Where are you, Rox?
Now I want to tell you why this EVP is so accurate. So this is where Roxy's ashes are. Here's the box. Has her name engraved on it and a couple other things like her fern, a paw print, little angel. And I'm wondering if this is what she meant by the cage in my bedroom. Roxy was never kept in a cage except for when she was a puppy to be trained for reasoning purposes. You know, the box could be a cage. So I was using my dowsing rods and I asked, where's Roxy? Show me where Roxy is. And I was standing probably in the middle of my room when I thought, of course, it would bring me over to here where her ashes were, but I was wrong. Instead, it brought me over to the corner here where these blankets are piled up. Let me see if I can, here we go. And this was one of her favorite blankets and a couple of her other blankets that she used while she was alive. And the last one there, the one on top, is the last one she laid on. And I was really surprised because the dowsing rods crossed right over top of that. And I was like, hey, Rox, are you here? So I think that the box of her ashes is what she was referring to with the cage. And the blankets in the corner, you know, is where she stays at, I think, a lot of times when she comes to visit me. And that's why the dowsing rods crossed there, which really surprised me because I didn't expect that. It was a nice surprise. Roxy always stayed out on the sofa and kept me company. So that explains the cage, my bedroom, and the couch.
You come back to visit me? Do you hate me, Rox?
So I asked Roxy if she hated me, only because I felt really guilty about choosing euthanasia, even though it was the right thing to do. And it was exactly 1 month since she passed away. And, you know, the answer that it's what I believe. I didn't believe for 1 minute that she really hated me. It was just me feeling bad. But then she surprised me saying something really sweet about hugging me. That, you know, I felt that, you know, I was hugging her and she confirmed that. So that was nice.
Roxy, all those pictures of dogs that came through, are they you?
So my daughter Brielle had a couple of dreams with Roxy in it shortly after she died. In her dreams, Roxy followed me everywhere I went and was happy to see me, which was very comforting. And animals and people who die do come back to visit you in your dreams because it's a little bit easier to do it that way than to try to get you to notice them when you're not sleeping. Here's a really cool EVP that definitely confirms that Roxy was indeed in Brielle's dream. Check this out.
There's a whole bunch of white dogs that came through, like this. Alright, I have some questions that I'd like to ask you.
This next EVP offers some words of love and encouragement.
Thank you for talking to me, sweetheart. I love you.
It took me quite some time to get around to making this video. Roxy's been gone for almost 3 months now, but it took that long for me to be able to look through her pictures without crying. So as I was making this video, I was kind of emotional. It was kind of really hard to do. And halfway through it, I noticed that my ceiling fan was turning by itself. We never put it on because it has this crazy imbalance thing, so it shakes all over. But it was just moving, steady, turning slowly. Sometimes it would speed up a little, sometimes it would slow down, sometimes it would stop, and then it would start. It never did it before.
No.
been doing it for at least 5 minutes.
Has it?
Yeah, because I saw it before I went outside. I mean, it's not on at all. And it was spinning faster a minute ago. And now it's just really slow.
It's getting slower. It's getting slower.
Yeah,
It's stopping.
that's weird. Well, I guess it's just about stopped.
A little bit.
If it's Roxy, can you move that ceiling fan again? So my ceiling fan, we never turn it on because it has a very bad problem with balance. I was just turning around to talk to my daughters and it was spinning. And then it stopped and I went to the kitchen and came back out and it was spinning a hair, a tiny little bit. And I just got a really cold breeze coming at me. And I guess they're not going to do it again. Then I'll shut this off and then they'll do it. So it's going at it again. I decided to get my full spectrum camera out, hoping that maybe I could catch something on film, but I didn't see anything. Been doing this for a little bit. So I figured I'd take out my full spectrum camera and take a look around. I have an idea. Shut it off. Well, I keep looking around. I figure the light switch is off. Well, I have another idea. Of course, no good little paranormal session would be complete without an EVP session. I figured, well, if they weren't going to let me see them, maybe they would speak to me. And I did get an answer. I think I know just who it was. Obviously, Roxy. There's an EVP upcoming that actually says Roxy, and a couple little EVPs I got from the session that were so low you couldn't hear it on the video. Cleaned it up a little bit. What's your name? Who's making the ceiling fan spin around? The power's off. Who's trying to get my attention? Who's trying to get my attention? Because I've been working on her video all day. So why are you making the ceiling fan go around? Are you somebody I know? It's just going on. So I'm going to try something. I'm going to stop it. Alright, I just stopped it. I just stopped it with my hands. The power's off. So I stopped it with my hands, and so far it's been that way. Roxy had a big girl bark and a little girl voice, and this was definitely her little girl voice. Roxy and I were very close, and while I do believe she went home, I think she comes back to visit me a lot, but I try to tell her all the time, hey, you know, do what you need to do and be happy. I was very emotional making this video, and I think she was there to comfort me. As a paranormal researcher, I work with death a lot, but when death knocks at your door, it's brutal, as anyone who's ever had that kind of experience knows. The last words I said to my Roxy girl was, I love you, Rox. You're Mommy's good girl. I'll love you forever. Night, girl. She will be in my heart forever and missed till the end of time. Well, this is the hardest video I ever made, and I thank you so very much for watching. This is Shar with Psychic Miss Paranormal.